Welcome to the Dusty Jobs Podcast from Imperial Systems. Industry knowledge to make your job easier and safer.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dusty Jobs Podcast. Today Chris is back with us again from AKS Cutting Solutions. How are you guys doing over there?
Good, we're doing really well. This has been, no joke, the best show that we've had in the last 4 or 5 years.
That's great. That's great. Now, if people aren't familiar with AKS, or they can go back and listen to the other podcasts that you and I did together. But give us a little information, a little sum up about what AKS is and what you guys do.
Sure. So we are based out of Cleveland, Ohio. We have a pretty large facility there, 55,000 square feet. We're a fourth generation family-owned business. My dad is currently the president. My great-grandfather bought the company, and my grandfather ran the business for 50 years. So he just retired a couple of years ago. We talked about him quite a bit in our last one.
Yeah.
So we manufacture CNC tables, right? We know how to move a tool really well and put it in the right spot. And right now, the tools we integrate are plasma and water jet. And then we have all sorts of different little add-ons and features that we can put on top of that to increase the capacity and the capabilities of the system.
So anybody who's not familiar, the big sheet of metal comes in.
Yep.
Lots of parts and pieces need cut out of that, and then instead of doing it by hand, you guys can program it into a machine that cuts it out.
Exactly.
Is that pretty simple, right?
You got that right. So basically every weldment in the world is going to start with big pieces of material that you got to make smaller.
Yep.
And then you're going to put them back together. Right? It's kind of a weird little thing. Additive manufacturing really is just welding, and then there's also 3D printing, but it's mainly welding. Subtractive manufacturing, cutting stuff up, machining things down, doing stuff to a big piece and making it smaller, that's the side that we play on. So basically any shop in the world, any fabricating facility in the world, they're going to bring in bar stock, they're going to bring in sheet, they're going to bring in their raw materials. And the first thing they want to do is make it small.
Right.
And that's why you put a plasma table right next to your back door. So you bring in the big stuff, toss it on there, cut it out, make it small, and then give it off to the welders.
Yeah, that is the workflow of a lot of shops.
Yeah.
So what's new with AKS in this in the realm of plasma tables?
Sure. So we've released 2 new products in the last year.
Okay.
One being the Plasmatic,
All right.
and the other being the Plasmatic Pro. We're demoing the Plasmatic in our booth A3525, and it's been received very well. We've actually sold a couple of them here at this show.
So what makes the Plasmatic different than just the standard table that you guys have had in the past?
Not much, actually.
Okay.
Other than the price point. It's quite a bit cheaper.
Oh.
So what we've done is we've reduced some material weight. We've centralized some elements like the electrical cabinet and the drive package and whatnot. And we are using some smaller drives because we know that we're not going to load up the machine with as much weight of tools and stuff. It is a dedicated plasma cutting system, and it's definitely going to be a big player in the light industrial market.
Nice. So you guys have figured out how to make a machine that's geared towards a certain size of application and really just make it as economical as you can. Not sacrifice on any of the quality, just taking everything you can and making it a really economical for those small shops that maybe are just getting into their first plasma table. Is that what you're looking at with this?
Exactly. If you got a shop and you want to get a plasma table and you don't want to get a bolt together machine, you want to get something that's solid, but you don't want to have to spend $300,000-$400,000. That's exactly what the Plasmatic is for. It's for that shop that has 10, 15, 20 guys, or a maintenance facility for a large shop, or all sorts of those guys that are going to maybe use it 10, 15 hours a week, but they want to know that they have the durability that if they bump it with a tow motor, it's going to be okay.
There you go. So someone who's thinking about getting a plasma table, what's some of the things that maybe they're a little scared of that really they shouldn't be? Like, what are some concerns you guys hear a lot about getting a plasma table?
I think the biggest one that they shouldn't be concerned about is how difficult it is to operate the system. I can take anybody here, and in about 5 minutes, they can be running a Plasmatic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So sometimes people are intimidated by the controls, but with you guys, not a big deal.
No, not a big deal at all. If you got a guy who wants to work and use that machine, I can teach him how to do it very, very quickly.
That's
right. New guy straight into new to the workforce.
Yeah.
No issue.
So what's the big difference between the Plasmatic and the Plasmatic Pro then?
So the Plasmatic Pro is going to include fully encoded servos, and that's going to allow us to utilize the Hypertherm XPR series of plasma power supply.
Okay.
The Plasmatic, the base model, that's going to utilize the PowerMax Sync series of handheld torches. and then we get the mechanized ones for our CNC system.
Yeah.
The Plasmatic Pro is going to have a little bit more powerful drives, a little bit bigger motors, and that's going to allow it to have the necessary XL decel to get what you want out of an XPR series system.
So it's kind of like it's saying it's the Pro. It's stepping it up a little bit, one more level.
Yep.
For when you have a more heavy duty application.
Yep. So that's going to go. The Plasmatic is limited to the Max Pro 200, which will give you about 2-inch mild steel piercing capacity.
Okay.
The XPR 300 is going to get you to around 3 inches.
Oh.
So, and it's also going to be your high def, or as Hypertherm likes to call it, their extreme definition plasma cutting. And it looks pretty good. I'll put it against any laser part past 1/2 inch.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
So you were talking a little bit earlier about that it's not the hardest thing in the world to learn how to run a plasma table. So today at the show, we usually have a lot of students that are walking around, and a lot of them are welders. And I mean, do you think that there's, for how many tables you guys sell, I mean, this is a legitimate occupation someone could be pursuing 100%. Out there, right? Plasma table operator?
You just gave me a really good idea, actually. I'm going to 100% grab multiple students today in video teaching them how to run the Plasmatic.
That would be great.
Cut apart in 3 minutes and watch them go, wow, I can do this.
Yeah.
Because they 100% can. Anybody can.
Yeah, because, I mean, when I was in high school, that wasn't something my guidance counselor was telling me about, right? I mean, there were occupations, but I know we're always looking for guys that have somewhat of an experience in that, in a plasma table. And what do you think would be if someone's out there thinking about, maybe I could do this, what would be some advice you would give them? Is there places they can learn?
If they're in Cleveland, Ohio, give me a call.
Okay. So you could, how would they do that? How would they get a hold of AKS? What's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
The best way is right through our website.
Okay.
Yep, 100%. I actually get all those emails, so I'll see it. If you want a job with a plasma table and you're in Cleveland, please give me a call.
Okay. And then, but do you guys have resources too? Maybe someone just wants to look into
Definitely.
What it's
so we actually have a whole training library on our website of how to set up and install a plasmatic system in particular. And they're all chopped up into 2-3 minute videos. We have about 30 of them on our plasmaticusa.com.
Yeah.
And right there you can access those videos and you can see what it actually takes, soup to nuts, to install a plasma table. And you'll realize it takes about 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, that's not even that long when you're talking about a big piece of equipment like that.
There's no floor prep required for it. You just take a nice little scale, put it on the sides, level out the machine tool, fill it up with, that model currently has some water. The Pro is also going to be a downdraft system as well.
Right.
But the current model is a water table. And you can be up and running in just a couple hours.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So that's great, because I know with a lot of people entering the workforce and trying to figure out what they want to do, I mean, plasma table operator is great.
It's a good gig.
Occupation.
It's a good gig. You're probably going to go, if you were to join the workforce and go run a plasma table, within 3 years, somebody's going to start teaching you how to weld. And then you're going to go be a welder. And then you're going to go be a shop manager. And then you're going to run that facility. And you can easily live your entire career in a fab shop and make good money doing it.
Yeah.
People, if you look around and you see things around you, that was made somewhere in a shop.
Yeah. If it's out of metal, it's probably been cut on a table and put together by somebody.
Yep.
So, well, that's great. That's great. So is there anything coming out in the future for AKS that we should be looking for? Maybe anything new, anything?
So on the larger side of our house, the AccuCuts, the DuraCuts, the TrueCuts, as we call them, the blue line, we do have some new options in particular for the AccuCut. The big one being a self-cleaning system.
Okay.
So we did release a self-cleaning system that, as material falls into the table, there is now a motor that's on a clutch with a drivetrain chain, 2 drive chains on big sprocket gears, and just between that is pieces of angle iron. They slowly cycle across the bottom of the table.
Okay.
And all they do is they just wipe out the material. They just literally push the material out that falls into the table.
So it's kind of like a squeegee.
Yeah.
For metal.
It's very simple. Yep.
Yeah. Now, prior to that, you would have to actually get in there and pull all those pieces out. Is that?
Yeah.
And so now that's one less thing you got to worry about.
Exactly. You turn it on. Our system runs passively. It runs continuously. The standard methodology for a self-cleaning system for the last 20 years is you got to turn off the power supply, or turn off, at least not be cutting, and then hold a button or hold something that pushes a plow or a blade, and as much material as on it comes out. So you could have an inch, you could have 2 feet of material in there. and hopefully you didn't overload it, or you're gonna have to go in there and get this stuff out. Our system, on the other hand, you turn it on and it honestly very slowly moves. It's about 1 rotation a minute of that blade, but there's 12 blades on it, or I think it's 12 blades are on it. And that just continuously moves out a small amount of material right as it's cut.
So if we were talking about maybe anybody, we're familiar with shoveling snow in the wintertime.
Yeah.
This is just taking that snow away as it's snowing instead of waiting till the end and trying to plow it all into a pile.
Exactly.
So, well, that's probably an easier way to do it.
Definitely.
And it helps not create as many issues, I would imagine.
And it's simple. We don't have a big heavy drivetrain that's trying to pull 2,000 pounds of material.
That's true.
It's just pushing out 75, maybe 80 pounds of stuff across the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
And with the integrated clutch, we're actually running a little promo over there. We have some nuts on the side of the system, and we're demoing one. And if you can throw one in and get it to jam the system, you win a little prize. So
did you give it a
nobody's done it yet.
Nobody's
done it yet. It actually sheared one bolt in half. Somebody did get it in there and it just sheared it. So not a big issue.
Well, that's great. Chris, I know we've been working with you guys for a long time, and we really appreciate what you guys do and how you do it, and being an American company right in Cleveland, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and we really appreciate our partnership with you guys, and you guys are doing a great job building great quality products, and we're just glad to try to help keep the people who are running those tables healthy and safe.
You got that right. It's a big deal. I see more and more. I'm happy to see it. More people are purchasing dust collectors with their systems.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, especially when you get into, as you guys know, any of your stainless steel cutting, where you're dealing with hexachromium gases and whatnot.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out for that.
Right.
And even with a water table, there's still people putting ambient dust collection systems around that just to really keep the air clean.
Yeah. Yeah. And water tables work well, but maybe they don't always work 100% of the time, depending on what you're doing. So
you can hear all about that in our prior podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. We did cover all that. So, well, hey, I know you got a lot going on, and it's, it's Fabtech, and we're all excited about being here. So, but I just want to say thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
And everybody can find you guys. What's your website one more time?
AKS Cutting.
AKS Cutting, and that's where you can reach out to these guys if you're looking for more information on a cutting table, about running a cutting table. Maybe you want to buy a cutting table.
Yep.
Come see
any
them.
of it. Please give us a call. We're always there to help our customers or people who are just interested in the product itself.
Yeah. So, and same with us. You can find us on any social media platform: Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, and we're glad to have anybody reach out to us in any way to help them with any of their fume collection needs. So, but until next time, stay healthy and stay safe. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Dusty Jobs Podcast. Breathe better, work safer.